And we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Board, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're focused on Star Trek Lower Decks' latest episode, Excretus. I did that the most radio voice I've ever done, and I was so excited about that. I'm joined. I'm joined by my wonderful, wonderful guests. Toddy to my left. Are you on my left? I can't tell. I think you're on my left. It's flipped sometimes when you go live. Anyways, whatever side you're on, there's Toddy. Trek on the Tube. We have PJ up here. I know you're up there for sure. PJ's up here. And then over there in that corner is Paul Sutherland. So welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. How are you doing?
Well, I'm well.
Yeah, he was waiting a response. I'm fine.
Paul, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm casual and unscripted.
Excellent.
We're all informal around here.
We've got Mine is an Evil Laugh saying "Wahahaha" and Springtime. Welcome, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the audience. Does anyone want to do the episode summary, and can you do it under 5 minutes?
Oh my god.
All right, I'll do it.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it under a minute.
Okay, let's hear it. Go.
Some Starfleet officer or Federation attaché or whatever the hell she is comes aboard and wants to basically drill all of the. No, she doesn't want to drill. She wants to go through like some drill scenarios or some training scenarios with all of the crew, the lower decks, and the bridge crew. Everyone goes through their various training programs and simulations, but they all fail hard. It's later revealed that they failed hard because it was all rigged. There was no way for them to win. The only guy that's actually winning is Boimler because he's anal about that shit. He absolutely has to win it. And so thanks to that, the denouement is he keeps on playing the program and keeps on running the program so that the others can basically trick said officer into, I guess, giving them a pass. And then she quit her job.
Damn, that was really good.
How's that? It doesn't explain much, but...
You even used a fancy French word, denouement. I don't know if I said that. But...
How about that?
Very good.
Boim's got his 100%, but then he lost it and became Excretus.
What was your favorite... we'll start with Paul. What was your favorite drill scenario?
Well, I'm just gonna add to the episode description that it was a flimsy, thin framework to deliver as many Easter eggs as possible.
I would equate this to like the interdimensional cable that Rick and Morty does, or to the like Halloween of Horror Simpsons episodes. Like this is that kind of thing. It's like it was almost short story-esque, I felt.
Yeah. But my favorite was definitely the Excretus of Borg scenario that kept repeating with the Borg babies.
That was my favorite. So I laughed the most at a different one, but this was definitely my favorite one as well. Was the Borg Encounter? It was like it was one of those jokes. Like previously, Toddy would say like, "Oh, they just did it one too many times. Like they just like hammered that joke too far into the ground." But for me personally, this one they could have done one more iteration, and I would have been totally okay with it. It was really funny.
Is this the horse beating Mariner? Or what is it? Goddamn.
What'd you think of? Which was your favorite, PJ?
The Klingon medical ethics one. It's like I broke my back slipping on a peanut, and it's pretty funny. And it's like time of life 0900. It's like this Klingon's not dead. It's like the opposite thing. And it was so stupid. It was really, I had a good chuckle. The Boimler stuff with the it's like the Groundhog Day kind of scenario where he's rescuing more and more babies and drones and stuff.
It also reminded me of like when you beat a video game but you don't get the best score and you're like, I know I could do better. Yeah. And then you just go again and again. It was like really funny.
Yeah, those were the two highlight, like the Borg stuff and the Klingon stuff. But...
How about you, Toddy?
My favorite joke was something that
an
I don't
audience,
know if it
by
was
the
a
way,
joke.
Tell us yours too. What's that?
My favorite joke was the way, like the voice acting for the failed. I found that really hilarious. How it just screams "failed, I don't know like who did the voice acting for
They're-
that. I don't know. It was great. I liked it.
What I guess you could call those hollow drills, right? Like or hollow drill suites or something. They're like tiny little holodecks.
It's a
really
nice
cool.
concept, and as flimsy as it is, as an excuse to give us Easter eggs, I feel like it's gonna come back because it's like it's pushing the holodeck to like a new limit almost because now it gives you an excuse to make them go through shit that other people have gone through in all of these other shows, right?
I don't know if it's gonna come back. I feel like this whole program gets canceled, unfortunately. Well, maybe
She gets
fortunately.
sent back
she
to her
gets
planet. This
yeah.
one was sent away.
You guys are gonna have to fill me in, by the way, on her species and stuff, because I don't remember that episode of the animated. I'm sure I saw it when I was a kid, but I don't remember that episode. So she was funny just on her own, but like I know there's like a lot more.
Send in like an essay.
But Toddy,
explaining
we
it to
still
him.
we still didn't get which was your favorite drill or scenario.
I don't know. I think it was the Borg one.
The Borg one,
Like
Borg Encounter.
without making like it, just taking like one story at a time, and without talking about how the Borg one kind of dragged on because he did it a million times. I think that drill was my favorite because I like the fact that if you save the babies, you get more points, so you get a higher
You
percentage.
save everyone, get the Borg Queen empathy. I guess let's talk about the Borg
The
Encounter.
naked time is the one that I didn't like.
You
I'm sorry.
That was-
I didn't like that one. I think that one was it pushed it too far.
There's a screen capture I want to show so bad. Oh, we lost Paul. There's a screen capture that I want to show
was
so
offended.
badly. No, I think he had a glitch or something. He'll be back, I hope. Or maybe we offended him. But
Wait, I want to fill you in a little bit. So this is my vague memory of what happened in that animated series. Because this species, I don't know if they are part of the Federation or part of Starfleet, but this species, like there's a guy that's part of the same species that he's like an alien observer aboard the Enterprise, and I think what he's doing is he's basically observing first contacts and he's observing like missions and how they go. But he was really kind of assholey and very judgmental when it came to like how Kirk and Spock were doing their stuff. I think even at one point they get captured and he's like unwilling to intervene, like he's pushing that prime directive shit really far. Something like that. He's not a very nice person. Like these
what are they
these-
called again? What are the do you I
The
should-
Padronians?
yeah,
Oh,
Pandronians.
Pandronians. Yeah.
And they have the ability for their heads to float as well. I saw like a lot of people talking about them today. So like they can separate their bodies into threes.
I mean, it's pretty cool, but you know,
Yeah.
one of them has to be nice at some point.
I don't care for their creepy limbs that emerge from their severed portions.
That was really cute. Little tiny like weird limbs. It's true. Hold on. I'm just gonna give Alexander Sandu. You are now a moderator too. Maybe.
Fathery says, Toddy, I thought of you during the naked time drill. I had a feeling it would bother you. Yeah, I'm not like, I don't find it necessary. I feel like that's the joke that took it a bit too far. Like,
You
you
didn't
don't
like
need...
Boimler's pose with his,
God damn
with his
it.
legs spread and his like that
That
confirms
specifically is like
that con-
way more.
That's like the part.
but that
made me
confirms
laugh
that
out
that they don't that the censored stuff is like stuff they don't even draw. Like 2 times now we've seen
I
Boimler
think it's
completely
drawn.
naked,
I think
and I can't imagine that they actually drew his butthole and his everything else.
I think it's all drawn.
I
It's
don't
gotta
think
be.
I don't
But,
think so.
uh,
I don't
Maybe
guess
even
we're-
maybe even they don't really swear on the show, and like the bleeps are a joke, which I didn't think so, but now I'm starting to
I
think.
could have sworn I saw Mike McMahon say that there is like the track is there, but that they bleep them, and that like,
I think
yeah.
they do swear because it would be easier for the voice actors to like not interrupt their sentence and just say it. But I don't feel like they draw like, you know, drawing a Bart Simpson penis like the first time round for like Boimler, that's fine. This time you'd expect the penis to be I suppose in a different situation, so I don't think they're going to put in the effort to draw that. But
just some of the things that like stood out in that again funniest, the most like laugh out loud moments of the episode was that one, even though it wasn't like the best. Objectively best was the Boimler one, but I laughed so much because what was the guy saying who was writing what's his name, first of all, the character, I can't remember his name, but he's like Ransom's like buddy, like his bro, and he's like, I don't know where I end and where you begin, and it's just like these like crazy wild things that they're saying, and it's just so it fits in with the Naked Time. Like it's like, but especially like the TNG one, what was that, the Naked Now? Like I feel like it was like a total homage. This is what was happening, we couldn't see this on TNG because of censors.
Sulu went to get a sword. He didn't go around fucking everyone.
This was
No, this is
Roddenberry's vision.
yeah, this was Naked
Oh, yeah.
Now, exactly. This is the sequel, which you saw like frozen people like
This-
in
this-
like naked in rooms together and stuff.
This is the naked gene, right? Like
The
uncut.
naked I just
God damn.
and also it's the wildest thing that I've ever seen on like I never thought I would see anything like this on Star Trek. It was just so wild and like crazy and just like I don't know. I thought it was very funny. I think Lower Decks is a very like funny and sex positive show. It makes you at least kind of confront these things, but be sure to screen them if you're watching it with the Wii ones because some are okay. Did you screen this one? I don't know. I don't want to ask you.
I watched them alone. I watched
Okay.
the first time because when I get home, I gotta watch it before we do the conversation.
Gotcha.
Then like Mugato, I suppose 6 scenes is kind of more like Nature Planet, like you know what I mean, like Discovery Channel kind of stuff.
I love the jets behind him posing, and
this
then you
is
have
not-
Phillips in the background just like on a pad, and there's so much going on.
Don't forget the mirror universe stuff, which is like all fetishized and
Yeah,
they're just
that was really
always
funny. Let's
pain
go
and
through them.
pleasure.
I wrote them all down. This episode made it really easy to kind of break down each segment. I guess we're talking about the Mirror Universe Encounter one. I thought that one was really funny, but I guess the only thing I found funny in that one was the Miggly Mo BDSM version.
Gimp, he's
He's like used, yeah, totally.
It was like
He
a
was
falcon with the falcon head. Yeah,
It was like
covering his eyes. Yeah.
yeah, he's like wearing legit Falconer gear. Like, it was really funny. It was like, and then just the I like that they were all like more buff in that scene too. Like everyone was a little more buff, and
One was so hot.
yeah, you actually. I was like, oh.
I feel like Maglimo, like like if they take off the Falcon thing, then they send him on a hunt. Like that would be interesting.
Oh yeah, it's probably what they do. I mean, he did squawk or scream or scream.
Well, so did Boimler, to be fair. Didn't he?
Yeah, it's true. Did you think anything suspicious like was going on when everyone was just failing, or did you really think that like the Cerritos? Did you think the tests were fair? In other words,
I just
You
thought
never
it was a
know with
messy
this show.
episode. Like it didn't have a focus, and it was just all like this and this and this and this and this. And I mean, I don't understand the Pandronians' motivations and like
she
the
wants
whole
to
thing
keep
about
her
the
job
test.
as
The
a-
tests, when you think about them, don't make a whole lot of sense. Like the whole going the Rutherford one. It's just an excuse to relive Wrath of Khan. That's fine and everything, but almost all of that was given away in a preview, so nothing surprising there. Like the whole thing where he's burning his hand and like that whole thing was pretty much shown in advertising material. So it was fun, but it wasn't focused. Like, and then Freeman like figuring out or thinks she figures out that it's all about teamwork, and then they confront her, and she's like, her evil plan is just stupid. It really is. It's all just
the
like
thing
what
is,
Paul
that,
said
like,
earlier. It's like,
have you
oh,
ever
just
encountered one of those like
excuse.
team builder type like situations where like someone comes to your organization and does the team building exercises? You
I
spend
don't
like a
work
whole
well
day,
with people, so
Or, okay, all right. Well, okay. How about you guys, Paul or Toddy? Have you guys ever encountered this?
I've never experienced like an outside like company or
Someone coming in like a consultant or whatever. Paul,
I guess sometimes we have like pip talks from our teams.
All right.
But
Well,
I've never had a real job, so
Okay, so you guys are lucky.
well, you worked at Apple, didn't you? So they must do plenty of this shit.
Yeah, this was like, yes, exactly. So this is like, I guess if you've worked in like a major corporation, like at some point, they there comes a point where like maybe the team numbers drop or something's going on, and so they bring in a consultant. It's like always a very motivational type of person, but they also drill you and they make you do these tests, and like they do breakout rooms where they team you up together, and the whole role switching thing is such a real thing where you get to be your boss and your boss gets to be like your role. So it's like, so like to me, like, yes, it was all over the place, but that's what those days are like. That's what they're like. This felt like very relatable to me, but I guess it's cool to find out that none of you, and actually consider it a blessing that none of you have ever been through a situation like this, and those guys get paid independently, so they, or whatever. Like the other thing that was like interestingly relatable, or like just like knowing this, is that like you could tell these guys are like really like, they're independent contractors, they're trying to get their money, they're probably paid like a lot, and so if the program doesn't succeed and you don't actually need it, like it could totally get
prove that
canned.
she's useful.
Yeah, and they're not going to get brought back, so there's always like there's always something, a hook or a caveat or something that like, you know, make sure they can come back for the next one. So I thought it was very funny from that perspective.
I do have a complaint though.
Sure.
I find that like season 1 and season 2 hasn't done like the best of jobs with Freeman, and Freeman is sometimes at the expense of, like, I guess plot purposes, she comes across as like a moron, or her decisions are bad. And I feel like that's not what they're trying to do with the character, but in this situation that reinforced that, because she's like, oh my god, it was a team building. It's like, yes, clearly, like, of course it was a team building exercise. They sent like the lower decks to the bridge crew and the bridge crew to the it's a bonding exercise. Clearly it's that, and it's like she has this epiphany, and I know it's to serve the plot, because then it's kind of shut down, like, oh no, it's not that. But it's just, I feel like she always gets like the I don't know, she always gets kind of put down by what the plot needs, and I find that disappointing. Like maybe they should give that to someone else at some point, not always Freeman. I feel like it happens often with her.
That's
I also
funny,
have a complaint.
Yeah, complaint. Complaints department, Star Trek complaints department here on Starfleet Boy. What's your complaint?
All the replicators on a ship should all serve the same fucking food, because it's so stupid. I know it's only a cartoon, but it's so stupid that lower decks people don't have access to the same programmable meals. I mean, it's not an issue. Like, it's not like it's not like the program that makes the fancy gourmet food costs more than the program that makes shitty ice cream. Like, it makes no sense.
I feel like,
but anyway, that's a
thing.
nitpick. That's a nitpick. I totally admit.
No, but I feel like
that's
a new thing, because Picard does it like on Utopia Planitia. There's like a
whole different thing.
What are you talking about?
Our boy Shaka, he's eating stuff that looks like shit.
That gruel, yeah, it's like this gross gruel, and so then Lower Decks is doing it too, and I don't know where it comes from, because
but Lower Deck, see, in this episode they changed it. The first time it was fine, because they said, oh, now you can replicate. No, Freeman says you can only replicate one slice at a time. Like, okay, that's just because the size is smaller. Like, you can replicate the same quality of pizza. It's
last season they did the same gag.
Whole thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, last season they had the same gag where like
so
the upper deckers have different.
God damn it!
Like chicken parmesan or something like that. It was like, you know, really delicious foods. But hey, you know, like that's something, I don't know, because at Apple everyone seemed to eat the same, like whether you're a manager or like a lower decker or whatever. So I can't say where that's coming from, but I'm sure that happens as well.
I can understand privileges in general, maybe less for a lower decks officer, like less holodeck time or whatever, like limited access basically to certain things. But like food, that any replicator can make anything, like why they should limit that, like it's weird. It's like, what do they do that with the holodeck? Like, you can't have too much fun in the holodeck if you're a lower decker.
I mean, maybe there are certain programs that you can't have. You can't have sex with certain individuals like the upper decks can.
They would have definitely, I think.
Oh wow, that would be fucked up, wouldn't it?
The bridge crew has access to the entire crew, but the lower decks only have access to lower decks. What the hell?
That's another absurdity too that would never fly in live action. The fact that the naked time sequence, like somebody could program that, and the people would be okay with it. Like I would assume there are regulations on like you can't physically have sex with a hologram that's a replica of a crew member. You can interact with one in situations, but you can't cross a certain line. You can only cross a certain line with holograms that are not people you know. Because that's a really creepy kind of fucking thing.
Well, didn't Voyager kind of? There's a couple episodes where there are exaggerations of the crew. I'm thinking of
It's
worst
when
case
Doctor-
scenario and the one with the doctor, right?
Yeah.
Both those episodes, I believe, if I remember correctly, showed their real counterparts getting upset at being manipulated on the holodeck. So there's some kind of like social code with the holodeck where you don't recreate people you know.
Barkley,
But obviously you do all the time.
Barkley with Troy on the holodeck. Like, what did he do with her hologram? We don't know.
goddess of empathy.
What did they do off screen?
He made Riker smaller. That's what I remember.
he shortened him, yeah.
Look, I'm gonna say something that might be like the most atrocious thing that I have to say about this episode.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like this episode worked as much as it did because we already know the show. But if this had been the first episode, it probably would have scared the hell out of me, and I would have been like, "Oh no,
But it's not the
this
first
is going to
episode.
be everything that I don't want it to be."
It's pretty random. Yeah.
Because it's you know when people say, "Oh, I don't watch Lower Decks, it's just a spoof of Star Trek, it doesn't have any like soul to it." It's like this is kind of what this is, but no, because it has like the history of the first two seasons at this point. But like the standalone, it's kind of a hot mess. But it wouldn't have worked for me if they had begun with this, right?
I think it's a good episode, but yeah, you're right. You can't start off with this one. This is like too wild and too and you have to know
but,
Star Trek.
Yeah,
Like
you would
if you watched this and you didn't know all the references, it would seem really like wacky and just fucking
That's very true.
because you wouldn't even understand the tests themselves. Like you kind of get more context knowing about the Wrath of Khan, that scene, but somebody's
We should
like,
test
okay,
this out
you
on
can't
a
open
willing
a door and the
participant.
ship explodes. Okay, whatever.
We should totally test this out on a willing participant, someone who's seen everything but Lower Decks.
It's not a bad episode.
First.
It's not a bad episode, but it's in the like category of like the earlier episodes.
Toddy, I
It's
think
not-
your critique is
A
invalid.
lot of oh really? I think a lot of Lower Decks episodes, even if you've never seen Star Trek, you can watch it and still get the jokes. But I think this one, not really. Like this one just didn't work as well. I find. I
That
had
I agree
fun.
with. You have to
I
have
had
seen
fun.
a lot of. I feel like you've had to at least seen TNG, TOS. Who said it's like another way to cram in Easter eggs?
Maybe
I think it
we
was
all did.
Oh,
Paul said it first.
Maybe it's also because it's kind of like I feel like Lower Decks had a really good streak recently. Well, there's like 4 previous episodes they were really really good. So maybe this one just like in comparison feels a little weaker.
Is it okay if this one's just for fun? Because that's where I left it. Like there have been a couple of great episodes that that gave us some cool character development. I mean, but this was yet another episode where we get there's no real difference between Lower Decks and the senior staff. We're all Lower Decks on the Cerritos. Like that was yet another reinforcement
It
of
was
this
reinforced,
theme,
yeah.
if not like individual character development.
Yeah, she's like, oh, but I knew I could fail this California class because no one cares about it. Like,
Nobody
the
in
drill
the
and
Federation
shepherd.
knows about it, which I
Yeah.
appreciated that.
Yeah.
Father is kind of right. He says y'all are acting like these drills weren't altered by someone who wanted to make them unwinnable. It's okay for anything in them. Like it's okay if nothing makes sense because ultimately she modified them to. It's kind of a cheat. It's like kind of a cop out though.
She modified them to be more difficult, not technically unwinnable because Boimler does.
Yeah, and that
kinda
would
win.
mean that she still has like the crew being naked in part of her drills.
But it's a I know, but it's a combination of her making it harder and picking the crew which she thinks would be the most likely to fail. And what would have made the episode better, I think, would have been that they're like, oh, they all band together and they go back and they beat them all, or they beat, they get a good score.
That's what I thought would happen. I
But,
thought everyone was going to go back in and everyone would get like an 80%. That's what I thought. And we
Yeah,
would
but
see
Boimler-
the correct way to win them all. That's what I thought.
That might be
But
fun to do as a follow up. Like maybe they do a real like what you said. Like I couldn't see earlier when you said like they have to
They're
do
gonna give
another
us a
one.
follow-up
Like
to this
I
with
couldn't see
Badgie, of
this.
course,
I was
right?
like, this is a one time only episode. It's special. It's gonna just stay in the like in where it is. But I could see like like someone more official maybe or someone else next season coming back and doing the training scenarios. But also I think that would might be just kind of like we all know kind of how they're gonna do in a real like it was cool to see them being duped by each situation because you thought for sure I thought for sure Mariner was going to beat the cowboy town the western town scenario, the old west planet, and I thought for sure she was going to like I thought Rutherford had the engineering one down as well. So and I also thought it was weird. Again, I didn't think of it as I was watching it necessarily. It was like when it was revealed kind of that it was all rigged. I was like, "Oh, that's why all these things were so weird." Like who like no one in Starfleet would be like, "Yes, we have to kill him and give him a great, death." Even for lower decks it seemed like an over exaggeration of like the kind of tropes that they normally lean on. So yeah, I don't know.
Did that
feel like
cheapen
in
the
that sense-
dilemma? Like the dilemma that we had with Worf and Riker? Does that cheapen it?
No, like
No?
making fun of
Comedy
it.
show. Yeah.
They're directly poking fun at like
Okay.
the whole thing about Klingons wanting to die honorably. And you're like, no, you have to do it with a blade, and like it has to hurt. It's all.
Yeah, I keep thinking if we're like critiquing lower decks or like if we were to like mold lower decks as though this episode wasn't again just like a blatant excuse to deliver extended references to things that we love about Star Trek. I think the holopod scenarios could have been specifically tailored to like these characters' individual weaknesses. Like I thought going into it, I thought maybe like the Western thing, Mariner failing at the Western thing might reveal something about her character. Obviously, they didn't go that route, but I think that if we were going to be like serious, like we could seriously say, well, these scenarios should have revealed something about the character. But again, I just kind of took it as like a throwaway fun episode.
Interestingly, it kind of revealed that she and the lower deckers, like just like the upper deckers, didn't really quite understand what scenarios the other group might go through, like from the perspective of like how difficult it is, and I think that was interesting because they're all like in the beginning when we didn't talk about the cold open, but when they leave them on the satellite like for 6 hours, and then Ransom said something that I thought was a cool little insert where he's like, well, if you had like checked out your mag boots, that would have happened, which makes sense. Like the computer would have said like, oh, there's like these maybe that's how the computer knows like the mag boots or the uniforms are still off ship, or I don't know, something like that.
Try to make sure you know where your crew is at all times.
Yeah, exactly.
The captain, though.
But it could have been that.
Especially when it's
that
your
there's like
daughter.
a fail safe or something. The ship can't go to warp until you've beamed out, or maybe the ship auto beams you, or something like that. It could be that advanced by this point.
That kind of goes back to like making Freeman kind of an idiot for the sake of a joke, like.
But it is a joke.
It's
like,
the captain's
whole show's supposed to
responsibility.
be
I'm
a
sorry,
joke.
you're the captain.
Like,
you left your crew behind. They almost died. It's played for a joke, and it's fine. It's not even like a critique so much. It's just that's what
I think she skirts
because-
the line. I think she's just
Yeah,
oblivious
something like that,
enough.
yeah.
Like
It's
because
because
she has enough
ultimately-
great moments.
The show has to make the characters make mistakes, but Freeman is the one in charge and responsible because she's the captain. So, like in this kind of situation, by default, she's the captain. She made the mistake of leaving them behind. Like we're not going to say, "Oh, Ransom was on the bridge at that point," because it wasn't like explicitly said, right? So you just anyway.
Yeah.
I would like them to move a little bit away from that.
There's a good line at the end where Boimler says, "They took away everything I was,"
Yeah, that was really funny.
Oh, dear God.
and it's crazy. Like the simulation shoved things up his whatever he said, and it's like, really, they tortured you in the simulation, like
Yeah, like that demented simulation.
safety protocols are off.
I was so excited to see the Borg Queen, and IMDb wrongly has it credited to Alice Creech. I didn't see her in the guest star list. So.
Alice-
No, she was there. She was.
Not
She
wrong.
was. She was there.
Yeah, that was
What?
her.
She was.
It was her.
Her name was written on the screen. How did
It
you miss it?
was?
It
Yeah.
sounded.
Yes.
I don't know if
Starring.
did anybody else notice
Oh,
her
I guess I
audio
missed it in the
sounded
opening
like
credits. That's cool.
She was on the
Alright.
phone.
it sounded like she recorded on a phone or something. It wasn't
probably,
like as
yeah.
professional as it sounded. A little bit muffled.
Yeah, because she
It was
has that
weird, like,
good
they could-
ASMR voice. She could have done like,
I'm almost positive that almost everybody recorded from home or their hotel
Wow.
room.
So
or
maybe
whatever,
the mic that they sent her wasn't like as. Or maybe she just used her own mic.
Oh, I
but
doubt they
it's not-
sent her any equipment at all. I mean,
But they
your
do for
phone-
like
your-
the main cast though.
that
They-
makes me love this episode
but-
more,
but-
by the way, that she was in it.
I mean, even with a phone, a modern phone, I mean, you've recorded a high quality your own voice in a quiet room or soundproof place. It's not bad.
It's interesting because
It just-
originally when I heard her voice, I thought, are they like recycling audio from First Contact? And I was
That's
like,
just
no,
because
these
it
are new
Yeah,
lines.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're new lines. Yeah, it's kind of
It's
our
good
thing.
example.
I kind of laughed at that one when she said, "It's kind of our." And she blows on his face. And,
You think
I mean, I think-
you think she
I
picked
was
up a
surprised
phone?
to see the Borg Queen
Send it.
so close to her showing up in Star Trek Picard season 2, played by a different actress.
Yeah, it's true. Well, it's kudos to Star Trek for getting Alice Creech to come back and do the Borg Queen. That's pretty awesome. Like, I
Well,
can't
they were
believe I
so-
missed that. Sorry, guys.
They were so faithful with the Borg stuff. They not only included the Borg babies, which Star Trek since then has tried to forget and just not even acknowledge.
No, didn't
But-
they do it twice? It's like once
They
in
didn't-
TNG
they-
and then in Voyager, right?
Okay.
They did.
They did it quite a lot in Voyager.
It's like- yeah.
Well, and then the electric things that used to get at the novelty stores that they
Yeah,
stuck
those
in
were
Star
the-
Trek First Contact. Those things that you touch and like the electricity would go towards your hand or whatever. But yeah, it's like just every little detail is so faithful. That's what they do. Like, of course they're gonna get Alice Krieg as the Borg Queen.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Sorry, Lower Decks, I didn't see it in the opening credits. I only watched.
No,
it
they put it
twice.
at the end.
No, I looked at the guest stars and they weren't. She wasn't
See, Lower-
there.
Lower
Did I
Decks,
miss
Don't
She
it?
is
do-
credited
lower
at the
decks.
end of the episode.
Oh,
when the
she's like
credits-
on her own. Maybe I just was focusing too hard.
guest
for
star, or what guest
yeah.
voice actor,
It's
whatever it
because
is.
they don't do what Picard does, where they put the names in the beginning, so
Yes,
that you know
that's
who's
good.
going to
That's
be
a-
in the
that's a good
episode. They
thing.
put it at the end on Lower Decks, so you don't.
do
know
that with
7 of
What
9
If as well.
appearing.
I was like,
There was a bunch of comments that just popped up suddenly. So sorry, guys, I haven't seen all your comments. But people are mostly all over the place with this. Like, mine is an evil laugh. Didn't really laugh in this episode so much. Dom says favorite part was probably Needs of the Many, with Rutherford's having to do the Spock radiation scene from Wrath of Khan. That one is the one that I wish had like a little more time on screen. I thought that one was like a little.
I liked seeing the
little too quick.
Enterprise
Yeah, it was nice. It was cool to see.
because
it
they had it like a
animated,
flat
yeah.
shot. It was like right in the middle there. I liked it.
But actually, that brings something up that I'd forgotten until you mentioned it, Toddy. But this is the first time I think that the holodeck shows objective perspectives. You shouldn't see the Enterprise A. You shouldn't see the Borg cube and the runabout.
It's
and
very true.
The
Only the room.
exteriors of the.
What is that? There, Alice Creech. Hold on, let me.
it's blurry. But
Oh
you can,
my.
You can make it out.
Definitely boy.
No, you're right. We shouldn't be able to see that because, like, Rutherford couldn't see that. Possibly, Rutherford can only see what's inside the room.
Right.
But technically, yeah, the ship shouldn't even be made.
Right.
Like, it shouldn't even
Just
be.
your immediate surroundings.
Yeah, it only makes sense in like the movie format, Rise of Vindicta, that they did in like season 1, because they're playing the movie. So yeah, there's gonna be like different shots. But yeah,
I'm gonna say it's like an avant-garde choice where we're imagining the show's imagining what we are seeing ourselves.
they
like,
want
when that's happening.
the holodeck does this to rub the defeat in the face of Rutherford. Like, look,
Yeah,
it blew
like it
up.
actually. Yeah, it showed, that would have been kind of cool if they showed it like on a screen in front of him, like what the outcome was,
Fail.
like that he saw it. Yeah, that would have been kind of cool. Let's see what else here. Wow, we missed a lot of stuff. Welcome back, Paul from Joe. Hey, Joe, welcome back to you as well. This this one was annoying as hell. Referring to the drill
I
instructor.
didn't get what was her
Pandronian.
name?
Yeah, the Pendronian.
I'm
What was her
guessing. I'm
name?
guessing the character from the animated series said that as well. That's why.
Yeah,
Right?
he referred
Okay.
himself as this one.
This
They
one,
li-
this
they
one.
used to live in like colonies, or like they were a people that lived in groups, I think, and so they would refer to themselves as this one,
Oh, can they body swap?
I think.
Like
Like,
let's
can
switch
That's pretty
stuff.
cool.
let's
That's
you
pretty
take my
cool.
torso and I'll take your head, or like something
It's
like
really
that. I
useful. I got shot in the face. Just give me yours.
wonder. It may have been the point being annoying, but she really got on my nerves. Yeah, I think it was definitely part of the point of her.
Well, they
And
celebrate
Toddy
getting
was
her.
saying
No,
that
they
they were
celebrate making
annoying,
her quit or something.
and you were saying they were kind of like the same in the animated series, from what you remember, right?
I feel like I don't know if he's like as annoying, but I feel like he's. I remember him being judgmental.
I remember him talking like this, like really
Yeah.
strange.
It was probably James Doohan who did the voice, because James Doohan did a lot of voices.
What do you
extra-
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That
he
kind
did
of
all.
thing.
Yeah, he did all the like guest
be
alien
wrong.
voices.
Dom also
It was
says
just every voice in Lower Decks, or the animated series, rather. It was every single voice.
Every
And
voice-
also Nichelle Nichols did, and so did they did a lot of voices, all three of them. Majel Barrett as well. What also was hilarious in the Naked Time situation, Billups was still naked, but just getting on with his work instead of taking part in the orgy, which very, very fitting. Unlike the Mirror Billups, who was very horny and like made him want to beat people up. Let's see. Oh, Alexandra, I know, but you deserve a wrench too. You've been around a long, long time. Sarah says hello with a smiley face. Hello, Sarah. Welcome to the stream.
She's gone already.
Oh, she.
She came and then she heard us spoil things and then she left.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Obviously, Toddy knows who Sarah is, so there we go. Let's see. And I think there was some stuff about you. Let's see. There was something here. Toddy.
Dom says the Pandronians are comprised of 3 separate entities that join into one.
It's gross.
Here at
It is-
Starfleet, we don't judge, but yo, that's
it is
disgusting.
kind of gross. That means the 4 of us could just have swaps.
No, it's
okay.
3. It's 3. You got one of us is left out.
I don't
This
know
one
what
ain't
you.
down.
I missed what you said, but Father says, Toddy, way to transcend the stereotype that all French people are sex-craved deviants. Oh,
think it's
because
just
you didn't like that
general-
segment.
I'm 50% Kiwi, so maybe like the New Zealand in me is like, I don't know, are they less deviant over there in New Zealand?
I don't know.
As far as I know, people from New Zealand are the most deviant.
Oh
of all
dear.
humans of all humans.
All right, so like there's too
and
much
they talk
French
funny.
deviance,
Why do they talk so funny?
and there's too much New Zealand deviance, so it cancels out.
Mine is
Actually,
Evil
if
Lobsters.
there's one country I would go to, it's New Zealand. I would not, or Australia, just because I've watched television.
I'm
from
dying
those
to go to
countries.
New
It'll
Zealand
kill you,
myself. I'm dying to go visit all the Lord of the Rings filming locations. Like, I'd love to run on the Pelennor fields in full Rohirrim armor.
The only one I've done is the Shire, but the Shire was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I
They-
hear all the sets are still there, so that's pretty
Season
cool.
2 of the Lord of the Rings TV series had to abandon New Zealand, and now it's filming somewhere else.
In England, it films in the UK, if I'm not mistaken.
Dear Lord.
But the first season they did film in New
How
Zealand.
does Peter Jackson feel about that?
Probably
He'll be
too
offended
expensive.
You've got the wrong sheep.
Lord of the Rings ruined filming locations for New Zealand because I think they like jacked up the price. They're like, well, this is Lord of the Rings territory, yeah. You gotta
That
pay
was
$2.
Australian. That's Australian.
I don't know. They you know, same thing.
Mine is an Evil Laugh says DS9 covered the situation with Jeffrey Combs' character where he wanted Quark to create a cure for him. That's right. What was that character? I remember that episode. That was a good episode.
I forget it was sleazy dirtbag of some kind.
What are you talking about, me again?
Hey guys, did you notice Ransom was being spanked by
Horgon.
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 What?
Horgon.
Horgon.
Come on.
Was he being spanked by Horgon? I didn't notice
Yeah,
that.
he
That's
was.
cool.
He
Jeez, I
was.
gotta watch the episode one more time.
You didn't even watch it.
I did, I swear.
You just listened to it.
Oh yeah, this is good news. The Lower Deck soundtrack is finally being released October 8th. I'm super excited about that. And it looks like they're going to release like everything, so that's pretty cool.
From the
and
first
then-
season, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stress-free K's here. Howdy, y'all. Cooking time, but I think SFB is right. In Trek, the Federation is very sex positive, so I like how uncomfortable some scenes make us.
No scenes have made me uncomfortable in Lower Decks. Picard
Yeah, me
maybe, but
neither.
not Lower Decks.
Picard, the eye violence makes me uncomfortable. It's true. The Pandorians,
It's pretty tame.
we got that already.
That naked time stuff. Sorry to cut you, but
No,
you
that's fine.
really look at that. I mean, yes, one is censored, but it's quick and it's like it's just butts. Like we've been seeing butts in cartoons for 30 years.
It was the most I've seen on Star. I would say it's a groundbreaking moment for Star Trek. It was very like.
There was
it
a
very
scene
funny.
in episode 1 with the naked gym where literally everybody in the gym is
This
butt naked.
surpasses that. I mean, like, there's like.
Oh.
There's
It's not even pushing the
canoodling.
envelope for that type of show. I mean, it's pretty tame. I mean, Boimler's position is probably the most hardcore image. If I uncensored it with my mind, I can't think of a more explicit image. But
I don't think they're gonna do it, but that's what I want the
That's
episode
how.
T-shirt.
That's how.
But did
Data
you see how
sells
big-
himself.
Did
you see how
When
big the
Doctor
black the censor thing was? It's like they don't even want to show any. Like they want to cover as much as possible. Like they could have only used like a box half that size to cover the area, but still it's like this huge thing because I think they were self-conscious about how that looked. And maybe there was an actual drawn version of it that was a little more explicit, but still censored. But I think they probably.
I mean, we'll never know. We'll
I
have to
don't know.
ask.
They
the-
brought
We gotta ask
Kurtzman-
Mike.
they
Somebody's
brought
gotta ask
Kurtzman
Mike
in the room.
McMahon.
They don't
They brought-
sell. They don't do
they brought him
cell
in the room. He
animation
said
anymore.
Bigger, make the box bigger.
It's all
They
on
don't
the
do cell
computers.
animation anymore. But at one point, you may have been able to purchase the cell for that scene. I would totally purchase it. It would be a piece of art that would proudly hang in my home because it's
We would
just-
have to send it to Braxton's friend's house there with all the.
Yes.
You remember that all that.
I don't know
artsy
if Braxton wants you
decor?
putting him on blast like that, Toddy.
I'm sorry.
Braxton has a friend, not a friend. He stayed at an Airbnb, just
Oh,
so
he
you
stayed
know.
at an Airbnb.
And it was the decor was very interesting. And yes, if I would definitely put that up in my Airbnb, maybe in the bathroom. I mean, like I don't know where I would put that art.
You're right. The box covers up most of his stomach.
I like the track on the tube. I had to go look at it.
Well, I had to go and look at it.
Way too much focus on Boimler's junk.
That's very true.
Way too much focus on Boimler's box. He's big box. So let's get off this horrible subject.
Okay, so a joke I enjoyed was Shax figuring out how to pile the friggin' cargo, whatever it is. Like, why is it all this shape? And then he manages to stack them.
Oh yeah.
I figured it out.
We also got the Q reference in that, and another that was the Klingon encounter. That was the other Klingon encounter that they were doing.
Everything was
the-
happening. There was
I
like
wanted the
there was
escape from-
Jemadar and everything at some point.
I wanted the escape since they were already throwing in all these like references and Easter eggs. I wanted the escape from Space Dock to feature Captain Styles and the Excelsior. I wish they'd just gotten that one like extra joke in, but that one was like that was the one that I wished they had like expanded on a little bit more. What did you guys think of like of that whole like
I forgot
sequence?
there was the crystalline entity in this thing too.
Oh yeah, we
God,
were
everything
talking about that whole
happened.
thing. That's true. Oh my gosh.
I don't know about
This
that
is such a
sequence.
jam-packed episode.
But do you think this was the first step in starting to recreate the openings? Because they had that black hole scene, and I was like, are they doing the opening thing?
Oh.
Or like a slightly different version of it to like kind of like maybe in the future they can do episodes that reference the creature sucking on the nacelle, or like they could show a scene in a future episode where they hit that ice thing or something, or they could have a whole episode where in the climax they're fighting the Borg and the ships are there and stuff. Do you think that had anything to do with recreating the opening sequence with the black
I don't
hole?
think so. I wouldn't think
It
so.
was a
'cause,
cute
like,
Easter egg.
Yeah.
And the show is, it's starting to reference itself as well as other,
As other Star Trek.
They've already gone through all the rest of Star Trek in one season. Now they gotta find something else.
The Crystalline Entity was awesome to see it on the screen again. That was like a cool part. I knew that I gotta look it up, but there's something in like the expanded universe where crystalline entities apparently hang out in like clusters, and they're usually just like going after like specific other energy sources or something. And I think they were saying that the one that the entity that was in TNG was like rogue, but if I'm remembering correctly, but this obviously says something totally different, so it was cool. All right, Todd, you wanted to share this.
I don't know. I just like it.
You really love it. Why don't you
I'm
zoom
sorry.
in for us?
I'm
Let's
sorry.
get
Well,
close to
I
that.
can't zoom in. It's
Yeah, you
a
can
video.
You can't just double tap or like
I don't
or
know.
shrink the window a little.
Well, if he plays it, it might.
Yeah, don't play it.
Oh
don't
well,
play
I mean,
Yeah.
don't play. I mean, you can't zoom in if it's a video though. That
it. It's
is
so pretty.
correct.
It is very
It's not
pretty
a.
though. Nice shade.
Well, it won't be as pretty if you zoom in, though. Yeah, leave it as it is. I like it.
Let's see what else. Last thing. I guess we covered like every scenario and every episode. We found out what everyone's favorite was. Let's do final thoughts and ratings. I'll go first. This episode gets an 11. I totally disagree with all of y'all.
What?
I think this
11?
is like this
God
is
damn
this is,
it.
this is my
That's
favorite.
a spite score. That's a spite
No, it's
score.
not a spite score. I said it
not.
before
It's
we
a
started
score,
streaming.
so he can average out to it being like a 9, so that he's satisfied with the average. I wouldn't give it a 3 just because you're doing ridiculous
The
scores.
scores
It's-
mean nothing.
It's my
They mean
favorite
nothing.
episode of both seasons so far. We have a couple
Really?
more episodes to go.
Wow.
Yeah, it's his favorite episode. I both times I watched it, I was like just in stitches laughing at the gags, and I do think I kind of want to lean on that sentiment that Paul threw out. Can we just have one that's just for fun? Like it doesn't matter what's going on, none of it has to make sense. But
It's
to
like
me,
Veritas.
yeah, it's a lot like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
You're
and
right.
so to me, this was that episode, and I just love it. The gags were endlessly hilarious for me. That's it. All right, now y'all can go.
It seems like each season might have like an episode like this, like a gag episode, an episode with the premise is weak, but it gives them an excuse to just do different ideas.
Yeah. So do we have 2 more episodes left?
Yeah, two
Yeah.
more. This is episode 8, so 9 and 10.
So
Yeah.
like structurally, this could really be the Veritas of the season.
Yeah, I would expect this. I expect the following 2 to be like
A
one
two-parter,
big story,
basically,
not
right?
necessarily
Like,
a 2-parter, but like connected
Yeah.
and
Like
packed
last
with
season.
related.
do you
They
guys
haven't
want to
done a
throw out any
two-parter yet,
I have
right?
no predictions, by the way. I
But they
have
haven't
no
done a
idea what's
2-parter
going on.
yet.
So this could be the first one they do it. They haven't released the names, or I haven't watched the preview. I don't know.
Well, knowing Lower
Anything
Decks,
about the
part
next
2 will
two?
come first, and then episode 10 will be part 1. I just want to screw with us like that.
That would be pretty funny. All right,
Just give-
go ahead, PJ. What's your final thoughts and ratings on this episode?
I thought it was okay. It's like I said, Lower Decks is never really bad. It's just some episodes aren't as good as others. The previous 3 episodes were good, the best of the season. So to get one that's a slight step down and just kind of there for gags, I don't mind it. Like it's not even an issue. But I'm just looking forward to the next 2. I wish I could just I know it will never happen and it's not a good thing, but release them all at once and I could watch all of Lower Decks 10 episodes in a day. That would be great fun, because when you get one that's okay, it's good, you know a really good one's right around the corner. So I would give it. Are we doing scores? I would give
Yes.
I would give it a generous 7.
Ooh, I was thinking you were gonna go lower, so that's cool. Paul, would you like to go next, please?
Yeah, sure. I was gonna give it a 7 as well. Maybe a little less generous because I was waffling between 6 and 7. Look, you are right. There have not been bad episodes. There's been a couple episodes that have inched close to that line. I just wish that I keep going back to like wanting the show to kind of push the boundaries a little bit more and not in the sexual content way, although that doesn't bother me, you know. But yeah, it was a throwaway episode. It was fun. It also had 2 moments where I actually like laughed out loud, which is like not like a thing for me usually. I usually like chuckle or something, you know. And it was the Borg babies and Miglimo as the bondage falcon, you know. So
God damn.
The Borg babies, man. Excellent. So 7 for you too. That's great. I was like in my head, I was like, oh, they're gonna give it 5s and 6s. So yeah, very cool. All right, Toddy, he's gonna give it the lowest score now.
Mine isn't Leave Laughs, this is the shades of grey of Lower Decks. I disagree with that. That's a bit of a statement there. It is, however, the Veritas of this season, and considering I gave Veritas like a 4 because I hated that shit.
Oh, you did? You gave Veritas a 4? I don't remember. Well,
Yeah,
you log all your ratings, so it's good.
yeah. I was looking back. I was looking back. I was like, "Wow, I really
Spreadsheet.
went low." This isn't that bad though. I'd give it a 6, but it was kind of an excuse. I don't know. It exists because it wants to exist and nothing more.
We have to try this whole discussion again
Though-
so that
though
I
I
can
did
get a
have
higher
fun.
score for this episode. Oh, yay.
When you do your overall scores, your 11s only counts as 10s. You can't count them as 11s. That doesn't.
I can't. It's like, come on, it's the first episode this season that's broken a 10, so I feel like that's.
It's interesting though because it's the first episode I feel of Lower Decks that has really been kind of like divisive. Because now we're getting like 9.5s and 5s.
The
in
Mugata
comments.
one is the low point of this season, I think, for me anyway.
You're
It's
right.
the one I don't really want to go back and watch because just overall
really?
the episode I don't think is. I mean, it's not. I think can't remember if I gave it a score if I was even on the thing, but I would give that like a 6 or 6.5 or something. But that's still not even that bad. I mean, that's the thing about this show is even when we think an episode is okay, it almost seems like Starfleet Boy is disappointed. Like you,
No, I'm not. I
it's like,
swear,
but
I
we
was-
liked it though. But it's
No,
like,
no, no.
you didn't
I
like it
swear,
enough.
I was not disappointed. I was more like surprised because like I thought like I was not alone in this kind of like, oh my gosh, it's the best ever. But
I gotta say,
that's what I love about coming to these discussions is like it's like fun to just find the other
Coming to, you're
perspective.
hosting them.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
were-
I'm sorry.
you were a lot less impassioned about like the TNG ones. Like often it would be like, this is shit. And it would give them like 4s.
Yeah,
and
I,
you'd be fine with it. You've never like Picard, everything's a 10. TNG, some of these things are trash.
I mean, there's definitely recency bias going on, so it'd be fun to revisit Lower Decks, like 5 years from now, and see how I feel about them ratings wise. But
Well,
by the way,
30
the
years
ratings,
from
Fathery said something really awesome, and I kind of wish so the ratings are just kind of like a tradition at this point because I've been doing them for like 5 years, so they're just like from the gut. They're not supposed to really, don't take them too seriously, like, and you don't even have to give them. Fathery reluctantly gives them, or you can do gag ratings. Like for example, my favorite rating tonight is where was it? It was spread eagle poems, some amount of spread eagle poems. So like you can do like weird ratings if you don't like to, and you don't have to like, yeah, there it is, 9.5. Stress 3K gave it 9.5 spread eagle poems. It's funny.
I'll give it 7 starfish. There you go.
7 star. Yikes.
Just the look on his face when he's doing that pose too. The look on his face, and then it's just as the image is burned in my brain, even though
It
like,
is, and
wasn't
then,
even-
like
it
that's
wasn't
we
even
didn't talk about this,
explicit.
but Mariner's reaction is like priceless too. She was kind of like ooh when Jennifer and what's her face were making out, but then she all of a sudden she sees Boimler and she's like ah like I
But
wish I
before,
could.
but
And
before that,
also
she
Shaq.
says. Before that, she says that there's an anus, and then she sees the Boimler thing. It would have been funnier if the line came after that. Oh, there's an anus after it. Anyway,
No, because
Stupid.
it's like at first you're just seeing an anus, but then you see it at a whole new level that you've never seen an anus before. So it's kind of like upgrading her.
Oh,
like,
Diego, do you want to do one of those SpongeBob things where like they zoom in and draw it with like extra detail and everything? You know what I'm talking about when they like zoom
I
into like
don't
something
know.
that's
I don't know SpongeBob, so I can't
Oh,
say.
come on. God damn it.
I don't. I've never really watched it.
SpongeBob. Where did SpongeBob come into this?
Something
talk
about
about-
extra detail. I think I know what you're talking about. It's like the Ren and Stimpy thing that they used to do too, where you would like go super close up and you'd see all of like Stimpy's hairs on his eyes or whatever.
yeah,
you
you
know,
see
like-
all of the details.
Oh.
Like
yeah, like that's
Why?
what, yeah,
Oh, now I'm picturing it in that style. Ugh.
Mine is an evil laugh gives us a 5.
Oh wow.
Let's see what else.
You said this was not safe for work, so this is okay.
Yeah, I did. I put the warning, possibly not safe for work talk, so just in case anyone was surprised about it.
Just to get it all, just one more thing, sphincter. Okay, we're done.
You got it out there. I give this
Sphincter.
episode 1 space dock escape out of a cluster of crystalline entities. That's a great. That's a great. See, we don't know what that
That's a
means.
pretty high rating.
Oh no, Jill's rating is dropping fast to a 4, so we'll end the stream pretty soon. But before we go, please everyone go check out PJ at Boat Rack. PJ's doing a Deep Space Nine watch along / fan commentary series. You can catch that every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? Did I get that right this time? All right, cool. What's the next one up?
The Negus.
Yay! I'm so excited to join you for that one. I can't wait to see what we talk about. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yes, we will talk about it.
We will talk about it. Yes,
in the
so
future.
Go check that out. You can find Paul at Paul Sutherland. And Paul, do you have anything specific to promote this week?
Yeah, actually, a Starships video that I wrote finally dropped on Trek Culture's YouTube. It's the Kelvin Timeline Enterprise, which I know everybody loves. I'm not actually in the video except for some year-old stock footage of myself, which I was completely shocked to see that I have it's been a year. And anyway, but so that exists. And then also I'm going to be on the Trek Central stream for this episode next week, I think, something like that.
Yes,
Wednesday.
that's it. That's how it works exactly. And I was on Trek Central this week for last week's episode. I was so excited, so go check that out too. Yay, Trek Central alumni here. Toddy, what have you got going on?
I'll be releasing my review for last episode probably today or tomorrow.
You're like the big channels. You release it a week later. This is so awesome.
The entire team of me has to get his act together. This one is struggling. That'll be it. Oh, and also, is it tomorrow? Is there a 31st in this month or no? No, so tomorrow,
No.
which is the 1st, there will be a Trek chat being released with.
I can't believe it's October 1st already.
With our friend Paul here.
It ain't.
What's the subject?
It's all over the place. It's probably as structured as this episode was, right?
By the way, shout out to Juzel Ricks _Ricks, or no, is it I always put an underscore. I don't think there is an underscore. Anyways, Matt or Antimatter, who's facilitating a special diplomatic service on the Sovereign class that he serves on, and he says hello to everyone here today. And so hopefully next week we'll get to have a Matt moment as well. But sorry, go on, Toddy.
That's it. There'll be
okay.
a Trek chat tomorrow, and there'll be my review if I can tomorrow as well. Probably everything tomorrow. A big content dump.
Woohoo! Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen.
I was gonna say something, but never mind.
Go say it.
I was gonna say it was stupid. I was gonna say everybody loves a big dump, but never mind. I was like, why even bother? It's so immature. I've said so many immature things today.
It's all right.
I need to stop.
We
Hashtag cancelled.
For more immature stuff, tune in tomorrow to Starfleet Boy After Dark, where we'll be talking about probably Foundation,
the many saints of Noah.
We'll talk about that too, and anything else that's Star Trek related, maybe more about this episode. But before that, at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, go to Text Trek and watch the fun and deep dive of this episode, where you'll have screenshots. And I'm really hoping that Text Trek airs some of the screenshots in the naked time.
Do I need to blur these things for YouTube? Or
They're already censored.
Does the black box do the job?
That black box
That's
is
enough,
so
yeah.
big. You don't even worry.
Yes. Anyways, leaving on that note, live long and prosper, and we will see you next time. All of you get 100.